the most surprising thing about the USA isn't what you think.
A woman just complimented my shoes, and that's one of the reasons I love the US and the Americans so much. Because it's free. It's free kindness. And it's not something a French would do. I'm not saying it's impossible, but in France, it's kind of weird.
Every year, thousands of European tourists land in the United States expecting the big, obvious differences. The skyscrapers, the portion sizes, the highways. What actually catches them off guard is smaller than that. It's the stuff Americans don't even think to mention, because to them, it's just normal. This is a look at the everyday habits that don't even register back home.
I saw the end of the world in the US, and it's called Buc-ee's. They say it's a gas station, but that's a lie. A gas station has a sad sandwich and a coffee machine that never works. This place has 120 pumps. 120. Why? Are you refueling the US Air Force? Are you preparing for an alien invasion? That's terrifying. And the mascot is a beaver in a baseball cap. I saw grown men taking photos with a statue of a rodent. In France, we have revolutions. In the US, you bow down to a squirrel on steroids. And inside, the aggression. A man with a knife screaming, a fresh brisket on the board. Sir, calm down. I just want sparkling water. Don't kill me. But I have a problem. I wanted to hate it. I wanted to be the superior Frenchman snob. But then I ate the beaver nuggets. I don't know what is in them. I think it's sugar, butter, and pure methamphetamine. I ate one. Then I had the whole bag in the parking lot like a wild animal. And the toilets, I have to admit it, but they are nicer than my apartment. You could eat the brisket off the floor in the bathroom. It's cleaner than the hospital. So I have failed. I came to judge and I stayed for the snacks. I don't have the hat, but in my heart, I am wearing the hat. God bless the...
And the ones that quietly rewire how a first-time visitor sees the entire country. In most of Europe, a soda is a soda. You pay for it once, and that's what you get. Ask for more, and you're paying again. In America, a bottomless glass that gets refilled without being asked is common enough that nobody blinks. For a first-time visitor, it can feel less like good service and more like a small, ongoing miracle. The kind of thing they'll bring up unprompted for years afterward, long after they've forgotten what they actually ordered. It's a tiny detail, but it sets the tone for a running theme in nearly every visitor's story.
Why? This is crazy. Look at this.
I can refill this 1,000 times.
Yeah, but you won't drink 1,000 cups of Coca-Cola.
And it's free.
You paid for it, you paid it.
Once.
The cheese balls with Mikey's house. No, time to come.
What?
I ask a medium size.
That's medium.
Ma che medium? Madonna! My entire family can drink from here for 1 month.
This is probably the best store I've ever been.
Look at these. These are nice. What is this?
Your pancakes you ordered.
I ordered 1 pancake.
That's one pancake.
This is 1 pancake?
Yeah, welcome to America. You know, I used to be little like you. Now look at me.
I think we overordered, y'all. This is massive. For comparison.
Tell me you're in America without telling me you are in America. I've just been handed my drink.
All this car stuff, because I'm in heaven. What's that mean? I can get bread, milk, and an air rifle.
Hospitality here isn't an upgrade you pay for. It's the baseline. A stranger saying, "Hi, how's your day going?" on the street, and actually meaning it as a real question is enough to make a lot of European visitors visibly pause. It's not rudeness that causes the reaction. It's simply that in much of Europe, that level of open friendliness between strangers is far less common, and far more likely to be read as unusual, even slightly suspicious. Visitors describe the adjustment happening in stages. First, confusion. Why is this person talking to me? Then, wariness. What do they want? And eventually, for most, something closer to relief. The realization that nothing is wanted at all, and that friendliness is simply how people move through a normal day here. Air conditioning running at full strength in restaurants, shops, even public transport, regardless of the season, is such a given in America that most people don't register it at all. European visitors, used to air conditioning being far less standard, a genuine luxury in many homes, not a given. Often end up carrying a jacket in the middle of summer just to survive indoors. It flips the usual travel expectation on its head. Visitors brace for the heat outside and end up needing to prepare for the cold inside instead, a detail nobody warns them about until they're already shivering in a movie theater in July. Parking lots the size of small neighborhoods. Grocery carts built to hold a week's worth of food for a family of 6. A small coffee that's larger than what most of Europe calls a large. None of it registers as excessive to the people who grew up with it. It's just what normal looks like. The scale shows up in stranger places too. Highway lanes wider than entire European side streets. Refrigerators large enough to double as a piece of furniture. Visitors often describe a specific moment, usually in a supermarket, usually within the first 48 hours, where the scale of the country stops being an abstract idea and starts being something they can physically feel, standing in an aisle that seems to stretch further than it should. And then there's tipping, not just the expectation of it, but the specific, almost theatrical friendliness that comes with it. A server who checks in 3 or 4 times during one meal isn't unusual here. For visitors used to being served once and left alone, it can feel like an entirely different definition of what a restaurant is supposed to be. The confusion cuts both ways. Some visitors find the attentiveness genuinely touching, proof that someone's paying close attention to whether they're enjoying the meal. Others find it exhausting, describing it as one more thing to calculate on top of an already unfamiliar menu and unfamiliar currency. Almost nobody, though, describes it as forgettable. Somewhere past the food and the friendliness, visitors start noticing something else. How much of American daily life is designed around never leaving the car? Banking, pharmacy pickups, coffee, even fast food orders large enough to feed a family. All handled from the driver's seat, without a single step taken. For someone used to walking to a corner shop, the drive-thru culture reads less like convenience and more like a completely different relationship between people and their cars. One where the vehicle isn't just transportation, but something closer to a mobile extension of home. None of these things are dramatic on their own. That's exactly the point. What blows visitors' minds isn't one big culture shock moment. It's realizing how many small, unremarkable, everyday habits add up into something that feels completely foreign, simply because nobody warned them it would. By the time most European tourists board their flight home, the skyline and the stadiums have usually faded into the background. What sticks, almost every time, is the refill nobody charged them for, the stranger who meant it when they asked how their day was going, and the quiet realization that normal is a lot more specific to where you grew up than anyone ever tells you.
The most surprising thing about the USA isn't what you think. I expected the big cars, big portions, I don't know, skyscrapers, but to be honest, that isn't what stood out. People are actually so friendly. I mean, you can walk into a shop and someone actually starts a conversation with you. Europeans and Brits just don't realise how different that feels until they experience it.